Before radar existed, Britain tried something almost unbelievable. Instead of seeing enemy aircraft, they tried to hear them. Along the British coast, massive concrete structures were built, not as bunkers, not as weapons, but as ears. These giant structures once listened for war. In the early 20th century, aircraft were becoming faster, louder, and far more dangerous. For Britain, this created a serious problem. The country was an island. Its cities, factories, and ports were exposed, and there was no reliable way to detect enemy aircraft before they arrived. At the time, radar did not exist, so Britain faced a terrifying question. How do you defend against an enemy you cannot see? British engineers realized something important. Aircraft engines were loud, very loud, and sound could travel long distances, especially over water. Instead of trying to spot aircraft visually, they asked a strange question. What if enemy planes could be detected by sound? If sound could be captured, focused, and amplified, it might be possible to determine the direction of approaching aircraft, their distance, and how soon they would arrive. This idea led to one of the strangest defense systems ever built. Acoustic mirrors were massive concrete structures built along the British coastline. Some were shaped like giant dishes, while others looked like curved walls or enormous bowls. They were carefully designed to reflect and concentrate sound waves. At the focal point of each structure, a listening device or microphone was placed. When aircraft engines produced sound, the mirror would collect it and direct it toward the listener. In some cases, these structures were over 9 meters wide and weighed hundreds of tons. Operating an acoustic mirror required skill and patience. A trained operator would sit at the listening station wearing headphones while the mirror was slowly rotated by hand. As it turned, the operator listened for the faint hum of aircraft engines. By comparing the sound's direction and intensity, they could estimate where the aircraft were coming from, roughly how many there were, and how far away they might be. Under ideal conditions, aircraft could sometimes be detected 15 to 20 minutes before they were visible. Despite their ingenuity, acoustic mirrors had serious flaws. They depended heavily on weather conditions. Wind could distort sound, and rain or background noise reduced accuracy. They also required highly trained operators, and most importantly, aircraft technology was advancing rapidly. Planes were becoming faster and flying higher, and eventually they could reach their targets before the acoustic mirrors provided enough warning. The system was impressive, but it was already becoming obsolete. In the late 1930s, everything changed when Britain successfully developed radar. Radar was faster, more accurate, unaffected by weather or noise, and worked day and night. Once radar proved effective, acoustic mirrors were immediately abandoned. There was no reason to listen for aircraft when you could see them electronically. Today, many acoustic mirrors still stand. They were never destroyed because of their size and strength. Built from solid reinforced concrete, they were simply too massive to remove. Now they remain as silent monuments along the coast. They no longer listen for bombers, but instead remind us of a moment in history when innovation came from desperation and imagination. Before radar transformed modern warfare, Britain tried to protect itself by listening for danger. The acoustic mirrors may have failed, but they represent a bold attempt to solve an impossible problem. Sometimes progress begins with strange ideas, and sometimes those ideas leave behind giant concrete ears, forever listening to the past.